Ace Bailey is one of the most polarizing players in college basketball. He's a 6'10 wing out of Rutgers University and is known for his ability to knock down some incredibly difficult shots, which has led some people to say that his playstyle is perfect for the NBA, while others are saying that he's a bust waiting to happen. Right now, he's projected to be a top 5 pick and is literally the definition of a pure scorer. He can dunk with ease, shoot over any defender on the court, and can stretch the floor well beyond the 3-point line. His shot selection can be a bit questionable at times, but when they're going in, he's basically unstoppable. When I said he's known for making difficult shots, I mean he's making completely 100% contested shots on a nightly basis. They might look like terrible shots, which some kind of are, but he rises up so high on his shot that by the time he's at the peak of his jump, he's head and shoulders above his defender. Guys like Zach LaVine do the exact same thing. And although Ace isn't the most coordinated, he's still super athletic and already has some pretty incredible dunks as well. So far in the 17 games that he's played, Ace is averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and over a block and steal, which are extremely good numbers for a freshman. Also, as much as people say that he's inefficient, his shooting splits actually aren't really all that bad. He's shooting 48% from the field, which I guess could be better for someone at 6'10", but for the way he plays, it could be worse. Then he's shooting 39% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. Not only can he knock down some extremely questionable shots in the mid-range, he can do the same thing from 3. From contested shots to coming off of screens and shooting while moving, he can kinda do a bit of everything. He's extremely good at catching the ball and still getting a clean shot off regardless of how fast he was moving before the catch or how contested the catch was. The only thing that he cannot shoot is a free throw. At the moment, Ace is shooting just 60% from the free throw line. That's borderline Shaq territory. This man can hit the most ridiculous shots you could ever imagine, but he can't make an uncontested free throw. To be fair though, his games against Seton Hall, Wisconsin, and Indiana weigh his percentage down a ton. He missed 16 free throws in those 3 games alone. If you get rid of those, he's actually shooting 80% from the line. Either way, he's not an amazing free throw shooter, and the more he drives to the rim, the more he's gonna need to knock those down. When the season first started, Ace Bailey was definitely settling for too many jumpers and was honestly giving up on drives way too often. It was easily one of the biggest critiques of his game because he was only using his size to shoot over defenders when he could easily be doing the exact same thing in the paint. Early on, if his shot wasn't going in, then he was super limited on what he could do on offense. But as the year has gone on, he's been driving more and more. He just had, in my opinion, the best game of his season against Penn State, and that's exactly what you saw. He finished that game shooting 9 for 10 from within the 3-point line and was going out of his way to try to get the easier bucket. When you're a driving threat, teams will have to play you a certain way, which gave up room for him to shoot 75% from 3 as well. Now that he's consistently driving, we're starting to see just how athletic he really is. He's quick enough to blow by certain defenders and can rise up for a dunk or layup out of nowhere. He's a bit stiff and sometimes uncoordinated, but that's something he can improve on as he gets older. I feel like some of his best possessions come from him having his back to the basket and just letting things play out before making a move. Sometimes he tries to do too much too quickly and doesn't let things develop, but at the same time he is able to create something even if there's nothing there. Also, once he gets to the NBA, he won't be forced to constantly create his own shot, so on top of getting better at that, he won't have to be doing it nearly as much. But for the most part, that athleticism transfers to defense as well. Ace isn't the greatest defender by any means, but he still is pretty solid. I feel like it's one of the things that he's improved on the most over the course of the season. He's now averaging over 2 stocks a game and can stay in front of most players. He's a great help side defender, especially on the backside. Again, he's 6'10". I don't think he's going to be the guy that teams are going to hunt for switches on. Then the only other questionable part about his game is his passing. Ace is averaging 16 shot attempts to only 0.9 assists per game, which is pretty bad. However, at the same time, that doesn't tell the whole story. He's obviously a score-first player, and passing definitely isn't his strong suit. I mean, he had a game against Indiana where he shot the ball 29 times and didn't have a single assist. He's made more of an effort to try to get his teammates involved and try to focus on scoring within the flow of the offense. But that kind of brings me to talk about the team as a whole. Ace plays alongside another top high school prospect in Dylan Harper, who is currently projected to be the 2nd pick in the draft. Yeah, they have 2 top 5 picks and they're sitting with a record of 10 wins and 9 losses halfway through the season. They're one of the worst teams in the Big Ten and there's a good chance that they don't even make the March Madness tournament by the end of this season. It's crazy to think that that's even possible. But outside of Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, nobody is averaging more than 7 points a game and it's simply not a very well built roster and the offense is mediocre at best. I feel like the team doesn't take advantage of Dylan or Ace's strengths, and you would feel the same way as soon as you watch one game. They both get lots of defensive attention, and teams almost force the rest of the roster to try to beat them. I'm gonna be honest, if this team didn't have Dylan Harper on the roster, then it would be one of the worst teams out there, and Ace Bailey would be averaging 45 shot attempts per game. It really is the reason I don't necessarily blame him for taking a ton of shots. Yes, he totally could take better shots in general, but most of the time he really is better off taking the shot himself than trying to swing it. Because whenever the ball does get moved, it always feels like it turns into an ISO possession with whoever has it. There are so many things wrong with the team that I can make a whole video about that alone. But we've seen top draft picks come from mediocre to bad college teams before. Ben Simmons, Anthony Edwards, and Markelle Fultz were all drafted with the first overall pick and all came from some pretty bad college teams. Right now, I have Ace getting picked anywhere from 3 to 5. Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper kinda have 1 and 2 locked up. It's up to Ace Bailey to finish the season strong to try to solidify that 3rd spot. There's maybe 1 or 2 guys you could have going ahead of him, but I think his potential alone will boost him up. And once he's actually in the league, we'll see what he can do. He's improved a ton this season, while not even really being in the best position to truly improve. You saw the same type of improvement with Cooper Flagg, and he's the unanimous 1st overall pick. Ace started the season a little all over the place and already looks like a different player from when it first began. So if he can keep up that kind of improvement, then it won't surprise me if he actually reaches his potential. And I don't know what a maxed out Ace Bailey would even look like. If he improves on his weaknesses, we could be looking at a top scoring option in the league someday. I understand why scouts might be nervous about him not reaching his potential that he clearly has, but I feel like even his floor seems pretty high. He's a 6'10" wing that can shoot, create his own shot, get to the rim, rebound, and play some solid defense. The way he's able to get to his spots on offense is really good, and when he's playing at his best, he's genuinely unstoppable. He's also unpredictable, and that honestly works in his favor a lot of the time. Then defensively, I think he'll be alright. He's a lot more athletic than people think, so that should carry him to being at least a reasonable defender. Plus, he's only 4 months older than Cooper Flagg, and Flagg just turned 18. Ace is still extremely young, so I'm not surprised he has the flaws that he has, and of course one of his biggest flaws is his decision making. He's still learning, and once he's finally in the league and training with the highest level trainers, they should be able to help him out a lot. Size and shooting are some of the most valued traits in the NBA, and Ace has both. But let me know what you think about Ace Bailey down in the comments, and please leave a like on the video to support the channel. Also, subscribe if you're new for more basketball videos just like this one.